Dear Diary, we're about to take on Birmingham at home in a replay of our FA Cup 4th round tie, with a 5th round match at Bournemouth from the Premier League on the line. Hopefully we can get to that stage off the back of 2 good wins since that draw in the Championship over Peterborough narrowly before smashing Eddie Howe's Swansea 6-1. How good Bartley. Those results mean we are 15 points clear of second place Sunderland and there's a further 4 points back to the playoff teams. So it's time to focus on the FA Cup. Until next time. Hello everyone and welcome to episode 53 of FMOE here with Cardiff City on Shaun Does FM, running out of rhymes. But coming up in today's episode we are going to try and focus on the FA Cup. First up it is a replay from the game that we did have second in yesterday's episode as we take on Birmingham off the back of a 2-2 draw away from home, and if we can get through that we will take on Bournemouth in the 5th round, otherwise just play our next game in the Championship against Watford, but I'd like to think based on Championship table position, we can get the job done at home over Birmingham City. So if you are looking forward to this hopefully FA Cup themed episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But 2 games played off the back of yesterday's episode. If you missed it, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. It did include the original 4th round tie away at Birmingham City, where unfortunately we could only manage a 2-2 draw, but off the back of that, a scratchy win over Peterborough. Thankfully an early Marco Bloom goal did mean we grabbed all 3 points. And then we did put out a stronger team for the South Wales derby. I thought this might be a bit more of a challenge as Swansea do now have Eddie Howe in charge instead of Slaven Bilic. But we absolutely pumped them 6-1, so some real confidence going in to this 4th round replay. And as you saw before, it does mean we now look even more sure of making our way up to the Premier League, even though there are still 13 games left this season. But we are 15 points clear of Sunderland, so hopefully we can go up in style. And it is now 19 points clear of those teams in the playoff spots. You'd like to think we are going to get automatic promotion up to the Premier League come the end of this season. But first up today, we do take on Birmingham City, a replay from yesterday's episode off the back of a disappointing 2-2 draw away from home. Of course, they're going to look exactly the same more or less as they did for that game. We're pretty close now to getting most of our players back from injury. I actually typed out an intro where I said we had no injury concerns, and right off the back of doing so, I had to completely rip that one up, because one click further forward, Serhal Galasai, he suffered an injury, which means he's going to be out for a little while, some pulled ankle ligaments. He hasn't been back from an injury for very long, injured yet again, out for 10 days to 3 weeks, which probably means he will not feature in any of the games during today's episode. But apart from that, we're at full strength, so we're pretty close, especially compared to how we have been over the last few episodes, just resting some players here and there who are quite injury prone, so we don't quite get into that situation yet again. And of course on the line, if we do get past Birmingham, is a 5th round tie against Bournemouth from the Premier League away from home as well, which with them being lower to mid-table does look like a somewhat winnable game for us if we can get through this one first against Birmingham. So hopefully we tick this box and can set up a showdown against Bournemouth, and we'll come back shortly with team sheets from Cardiff City Stadium. And here are the team sheets for this one. There we are, we've made a few changes. Perry Ing does come in for Hardy due to injury susceptibility. The same applies for Nelson for McGuinness. He is alongside Urhog, Hyde, and Gordon will start at right wing because Robinson also quite injury prone at the moment. There were Birmingham, they are in the red today. We are in the blue, and hopefully this time we get the job done and make our way through to the 5th round of the FA Cup. And just over 10 minutes into this one, we get our first highlight. So far, we've had 2 shots, none on target, but it does look like we are on the front foot early in this one as we have a free kick inside of our own half and eventually start to inch our way towards the halfway line, albeit we play that one back to our centre-backs, but now try and get something going down this right-hand side. Coventry in there to Rels, his midfield partner. Plays a good ball in there for Jacques. Right on the edge of the box. Marco Blum, far post. It's a good header towards that top right corner. And in the first highlight of this game, we do grab a 1-0 lead, albeit from memory. We did a bit similar in yesterday's episode, but hopefully this time with a bit of a stronger lineup out there, we can actually hold on to this one. But good header that from Marco Blum to give us an early 1-0 lead. And only a few minutes off the back of that opening goal, it is now a free kick for Birmingham just inside of our half. So hopefully not an instant reply in this one, and we can actually put the foot down this time around. They play a ball over the top. Thankfully, Urhog Hyde does win that in the air. Now Perry Ing starts to make his way infield, but loses possession's not great there from our right back. But thankfully now Jacques does get the ball back for us, and we try and get something going here, it looks like, down this left-hand side. Just take our time here before we do launch an attack. Now Goodmanson plays it to Jacques. Yet again, some good short passing as we just wait for some holes to open up here, hopefully. Colwell back to Urhog Hyde. Goodmanson, bit of a loose touch there, and they do win the ball back again, do Birmingham. So far our wing-backs just losing possession a bit softly. And Michael Obafemi, who was very good against us yesterday, gets on the score sheet early. And unfortunately, our lead has only lasted a few minutes. It is 1-1 here, albeit still a long way to go in this one. Only 20 minutes gone, but Obafemi with too much pace. Our defence there, kind of in the Sav-based formation I have seen mention of late. And unfortunately, 1-1, but we've still got a long way to go in this one. And just past the half hour mark, we get our next highlight. And this one is a throw-in inside the final third to a dangerous area. Coventry inside the box gets brought down. And here is a chance for us to retake the lead through Ruben Colwell from the penalty spot. Hopefully we can put this one away and put ourselves back in front. Goes bottom left corner, but that's a very good save that from Lodak. And unfortunately, we've missed a big chance there to take the lead 10 minutes shy of half time. Hopefully that does not come back and bite us. Unfortunately, nothing doing from the subsequent corner as well. And it does remain 1-1 late in this first half. And very shortly off the back of that missed penalty, we are on the counter-attack here through Jacques, but Fulton there with a tackle from behind gets shown a straight red card. So off the back of that, there is a free kick, but hopefully now against 10 men, we can really put the foot down in this one. Brum there with a header, but unfortunately that shot is pretty safe for Lodak, and this highlight is going to continue off the back of this. We'll probably switch to a positive mindset now, seeing as we are playing against 10 men, as Colwell has also picked up a yellow card. That wasn't great from Rooney either, but play on. And now Goodmanson makes his way inside the final third in the box there for Rouse. Coventry with some space here might look to unleash a shot, but unfortunately that one goes just over the bar. And we are still locked up at 1-1, but now playing against 10 men. And that is half time in this fourth round replay in the FA Cup. As you can see, well and truly the better team throughout that first half, but unfortunately Birmingham's only shot on goal did result in one. And we have spurned a few chances, especially that penalty to Ruben Colwell, which does mean he is on a low rating, but now we are playing against 10 men, so hopefully can put the foot down in the second half. One change at halftime, Colwell, also on a yellow card, will take him off for Molinas, and hopefully we can seal this in the second half against those 10 men as we get things back underway, locked up at 1-1. And an early free kick to us here in the second half. Molinas puts this far post, and unfortunately Raul's there with a header. It just goes wide and also cleared away there from Birmingham. Obafemi might get a chance as well here on the counter-attack, but thankfully they go backwards. The chicken goal line technology, I actually thought that was going wide, but if it wasn't between the sticks, that looks quite close, but nonetheless still locked up here at 1-1 early in the second half. And now another free kick this time. Urhog Hyde gets his heel on the end of that, but also misses a target. So we are still locked up here at 1-1. And we've gone all the way forward to the 70-minute mark. It's time for us to make some substitutions. Jacques down to a red heart, so Gordon now can switch out to left wing. And Zachariah Ziani will come on at right wing. He's done quite well for us in those last couple of games that we have played since you were last here, since yesterday's episode. And also Perry Ing only going okay on a 6.6. Ben Hardy will come on for him, and hopefully we can grab a goal against these 10 men of Birmingham. And very shortly off the back of those substitutions, we do get shown a highlight here. Birmingham trying to play out from the back. Rooney puts that one in behind, but thankfully this time our defence is in a straight line. and Goodmanson looks to put this one over the top, but they head that down to Molinas, and now Brum with a decent chance, tight angle, and the referee's pointed for a penalty there, which is a little bit surprising. That one did look somewhat dodgy, but now Brum will get a chance here to put us in front from the penalty spot. Surely this time, not this time. It is the second save penalty from Rodak in this game, and that keeps it at 1-1 with 10 minutes to go until this one does go to extra time. And while we are here, we might make our last two substitutions of regular time. We'll bring on McGuinness for Curtis Nelson, and also got a few tired players in that midfield as well, so Joe Ralls can come off for Alex Patterson, especially because he's actually quite a good penalty taker, which it looks like might be important at the moment, as the rest of our team are getting the jitters from the spot. But with 10 minutes left in this one against 10 men of Birmingham, still 1-1. And again, only a few minutes off the back of those substitutions, we do have a highlight here as Rodak, who is having a blinder in goal for Birmingham with those two penalty saves, will hoof this one deep. Hopefully we win that, and Ben Hardy does, and we can try and at least get a goal here before this one does go to extra time. Molinas with a good chance, and Rodak again with a very good save. Thought that one might just sneak inside that far post. It is not the case, but we do still have a corner, which Molinas will swing into the mixer, but really blowing a lot of chances here to put this game to bed inside regular time. And yet again, a good save there from Rodak, albeit McGuinness did head that one pretty much straight at him, but he is doing a very good job here of keeping Birmingham in this tie and giving them a big chance of making their way through to the 5th round of the FA Cup. One more, and this time they hit it away, and we go into the last few minutes of this one before we do enter extra time, as we now go on to attacking. But it looks like this one might go to extra time, and indeed it will, because we just missed so many chances during those 90 minutes. Look at those stats. Not sure how that's ended up in a draw after 90, but thankfully in the FA Cup we do have extra time, and against 10 men you'd like to think the extra body here will make a big difference. Now we do have one extra substitution for this period. I think we'll take off Goodmanson, only going okay. Also on a red heart, Dujon Sterling can come on for him. He's also a significantly better penalty taker as well than Goodmanson, so I think that will be our substitution here for extra time. And hopefully in this period we can put Birmingham to bed before this one does go to penalties against the goalkeeper, who's already saved 2. And about halfway through this first half of extra time, we do get our first highlight, a free kick, which they do somewhat head away. Then they clear it, but thankfully Ben Hardy is there to tidy things up and starts to go on the charge here down this right-hand side. Gets him behind the defence, and this time we'll put the ball in the back of the net. All it took was open play, and Marco Brum will grab his 20th goal of the season off the back of that. I think we are going to go back to our more usual setup, because as you can see, we did put a few more players on more of an attacking duty. Not too sure there why I was trying to change the winger. Should have been the attacking midfielder. But finally, we grab our second goal on this one off the back of those previous 2 missed penalties. And Marco Brun now grabs his 20th goal of the season from right inside that inner box. And hopefully that might put Birmingham to bed here. 2-1 late in the first half of extra time, albeit another highlight here. And Ziani gets in behind their defence, tries to play that one up for Brun. Good chance here for Gordon, albeit tight angle. Squares that one for Brun. He hits the post. So does Ziani. Boy, we should be scoring a lot of goals in this one, but still up by 2-1. A few minutes shy of half-time in extra time. And we're inside the last 5 minutes of extra time. As you can see, stats-wise, not too sure how this game has even got to extra time. We have well and truly been on top of Birmingham, especially since that red card in the first half. But fair play to their goalkeeper. He hit a blinder, but thankfully Marco Brun did grab 2 goals from regular play, despite the fact he missed a penalty, as well as Ruben Colwell. And it took extra time, but we've made our way through to the 5th round of the FA Cup, which will be a trip away to take on Bournemouth. But that was a lot harder than it should have been against the team down near the relegation zone of the Championship. A draw yesterday and then a win after extra time at home. Not too impressed with that performance, but we did still find a way to make our way through. So hopefully we get a bit of a bounce back in these next couple of Championship games can keep our good lead on top of the table in that competition. We'll come back shortly and recap those games before we take on Bournemouth in the 5th round of the FA Cup. And we are back with highlights from the 2 games in the Championship we have played prior to this 5th round FA Cup clash against Bournemouth. First off, a trip away to Watford. I was expecting the worst from this one because we do have to rotate our team quite a bit off the back of those players having played extra time in that Birmingham City clash, but we actually got off to a decent start here, grabbing the opening goal. On the half-hour mark, Ziani puts this far post, and Marco Bruno did have to come off the bench for Gordon, who picked up an early injury, did put that one away, but unfortunately a few minutes later we did concede one. Higgins, the young American centre-back, who our under-21s manager did sign in that past transfer window, bit of a loose first touch there with back to goal, and it was Mateta who made the most of that Watford grab a quick equaliser, but thankfully we held on there for a 1-1 draw, which I am quite happy with, even though stats-wise, XG we probably should have picked up more, but not enough shots on target with the amount that we had. Don't mind that result, especially looking at that team which we did put out. As you can see, quite a few rotation players did play in that one, and then off the back of that, we hosted Rotherham. Not as much rotation for our squad for this one, but still a little bit, and thankfully we did get off to a good start here. It's a bit of a messy goal, this one, but Atede bundles that one over the line to give us a 1-0 lead at the 8-minute mark, and about 10 minutes later, we did make it 2-0. Perry Ing finds Ziani down that right-hand side in a good patch of form, and good header there from Jackalis on the left wing to give us a 2-0 lead. In the first half, Rotherham did grab one back around the hour mark. Grimaldo here, too much pace for our defence. Bit of an unlucky deflection there off of Erhog Hyde, and Pepple puts that one away in the bottom left corner, but then with 15 minutes to go, free kick to Molinas, puts that top right corner, and we grab a 3-1 win. So despite that rotation, as you can see again, a little bit in that game, we pick up 4 points, which I'm quite happy with that away trip to Watford considered. And what that means for the Championship table at the end of February for us is we are now 18 points clear of Stoke and 16 points clear of Sunderland, in a very good position to not just be getting automatically promoted, but also winning the Championship, and hopefully that gives us a nice bit of money as we do head up to the Premier League. Albeit, I'm not too sure if I can find the article now, but our chairman, Neil here, has quashed those rumours of a takeover that we did have a couple of episodes ago. I did think it was weird that we were going to get a second takeover in 2 years, but for now it does look like we are not going to get another takeover in as short a space, but doing very well in the Championship. Should be in the Premier League for the start of next season, which should be happening at some stage during next week of FMOE. But coming up, we are taking on Bournemouth in the 5th round of the FA Cup at Ashton Gate, which is not their home stadium, so not too sure what's going on there, but they are playing a 4-3-3. It's a very traditional Football Manager formation, and they currently find themselves 14th in the Premier League, doing a decent job, albeit in this competition last season, we did beat some teams in that mid to lower table of the Premier League, so hopefully again we can do it, albeit this time we have to travel to a Premier League team. Last season, they were coming to us, which might make things a little bit tougher. And also, despite that rotation that we have been doing, not as many players come into this one as fresh as I was hoping from our first team squad. So it does mean that we're probably going to put out some rotation players again, just because I think that fresher players do perform a bit better than tired ones. And we do want to focus on making sure we do go up to the Premier League. We should be getting there already with that gap that we do have, but just want to make sure we don't bottle things, as that promotion could be worth a lot of money to the club, especially with the finances the way they are here at Cardiff City, where we don't have a great deal of money, truth be told. So I think a promotion to the Premier League would be quite timely, so we'll make sure of that and hopefully do it by winning the Championship as well. But we'll come back shortly and run you guys through the team sheets for this 5th round of the FA Cup from Ashton Gate as we take on Bournemouth. And here are the team sheets for this one. Here are Bournemouth with their 4-3-3. Some good players in there, the likes of Kefrim Turam, who we did have in our Liverpool beta save, and some decent other ones as well. So definitely going to be tough for us here. As you can see, quite a bit of rotation. Also, I've put Hine in goal for this one, as I should have for that first game being the cup goalkeeper. The only real enforced change there too is because Molinas is in for Colwell thanks to a suspension, but hopefully these guys can still do a decent job as Robinson picks up an early yellow card as we take on Bournemouth here in this FA Cup clash. And just past the 15-minute mark, we get our first highlight in this one. It is a throw-in for Bournemouth inside of our half. So far, quite an even game, which is good to see with all this rotation that we have done, as I said, just prioritising that promotion push, which should really happen from the Championship. Mateju there, good header back to Hine, but I do think it's probably a good situation this season, just going after that promotion as early as possible, and then we can see what we can do in the upcoming transfer window to strengthen the squad. Good chance there for Inamotta to open the scoring, but unfortunately that one goes just over the bar and still 0-0 here, just past the 20-minute mark. And not to off the back of that opening highlight, there is a corner here in our favour, and Curtis Nelson gets his head on the end of that, and somehow Fernandez there heads that one away after it did come off the goalkeeper, so a good chance for us there, but unfortunately still 0-0. Probably need to be taking these chances here away from home against Bournemouth, but with 10 minutes to go in the first half, this has been an encouraging start. Hopefully we can build on that here in these last few minutes, but Bournemouth do have the ball in this highlight. Tulam plays that one up to Christie, and Golasabel here makes his way down that right-hand side with good space, and it is Nabil Fekir with a bit of a rough first touch, but it actually works out quite well, so it could have been deliberate. He puts that one away, and unfortunately that pace there of Gorafabel, that's what was trying to come out of my mouth, does make the difference, and Bournemouth, with one of their first attacks in this game, do grab the lead. Bit of a soft effort there from Hine, but to be fair, that touch from Fekir did put him in a tricky situation, and with 10 minutes left in the first half, we go 1-0 down. And there's one more highlight in this first half, just as we enter the last 5 minutes of it. It does start off here with a goal kick to Bournemouth. Hopefully, we can respond quickly, or at least hold on here to make sure we are only one goal down going into half-time before we might bring on some first-teamers for the second half, because there is 1 week until our next Championship game off the back of this. But they find some space here down this left-hand side through Henry, and he starts to make his way towards the byline, puts us in the mix, but thankfully Hyde will head that away, or clear that away, but Golafabel yet again cooks our man there down that right-hand side. Now in there for Illich, good chance, but thankfully bit of a weak shot which Hine gets on the end of, and we will go into half-time. It looks like only 1 goal down, albeit looking at the stats, we're actually playing quite well. So not too disappointed, but there's definitely some players out there on average ratings who we are going to take off here at halftime. Kiona Tete only going okay today, also down to a bit of a deep yellow heart, so Brun can come on for him. Ziani for Robinson with that yellow card, and he's been in good form recently, as you've seen in the Championship. And also Hyde only going okay. Mark McGuinness can come on for him, and hopefully that might spur us on in the second half to make sure that we can come from behind and beat Bournemouth in this 5th round of the FA Cup. And we're coming up to the hour mark in this one. Bournemouth having a bit better of the second half, but I think it's time for us to make our last few substitutions. Both of our midfielders only going okay, and also Runamotta has just picked up a yellow card, so I think these will be our last substitutions. Coventry for Runamotta and Rouse for Patterson. So our first choice DMs will come on, and hopefully we can at the very least grab an equaliser in this last half hour. And we're inside the last few minutes of this one. We've gone to a positive mindset over the last 10 or so minutes. Now it's time for us to go attacking. We changed player roles, but unfortunately nothing at all happening there in that second half, despite the first teamers coming off the bench. And it does mean we get bundled out of the FA Cup, but by Premier League opposition in Bournemouth. But to be fair, stats-wise, didn't actually play that badly, just not very effective with our shots today. Very much the same case as previously against Birmingham. So it's not ideal, but we didn't actually play that badly, so we won't get too harsh on the boys, especially against Premier League opposition. But it does mean now our focus does switch to the Championship completely, with that big gap on top of the table. Hopefully we can see it out come the start of next week and make our way up to the Premier League. There's no more FA Cup off the back of a 1-0 loss in the 5th round against Bournemouth. And back in the inbox off the back of that loss, as I said, didn't actually play that badly, but unfortunately the same was the case against Birmingham City. Just not really efficient enough in front of goal as we have been in those Championship games. but in the end we can now focus on that and just make sure we do make our way up to the Premier League as soon as possible, because based on that championship table, it does look like that is going to be something which should be happening come the end of this season. But that will do it for today's episode. 2 quite interesting games in the FA Cup around some quite nice results in the championship. If you enjoyed that one, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying this series here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. Early next week, I think we'll try and get through the end of the championship season fairly quickly, because as you can see, we should be getting promoted even with 11 games to go in the season. So because of that, I might get through a few games off camera, trying to find some interesting ones. We don't play Sunderland until the last 2 games of the season. They're the team currently in second, will probably still be around there. So I think what we might do is come back the latter stages of March and early stages of April for a double header away from home as we take on Nottingham Forest and then Derby County, and we'll see how things are going by then. There's a small chance, if we continue to pick up points, that we might have a chance of gaining automatic promotion by the time that we do play those games, but we'll see how things go and hopefully just make sure we do get promoted up to the Premier League. It should happen. Hopefully we don't find a way to completely bowl it. It would be an absolute shocker if we did find a way to stuff this one up. It will come back early next week and take on Forest and Derby. So until then, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.